Stocks our strategists feel are poised to deliver positive returns are featured now in their top stock picks of the week.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Top Stock Picks of the Week. I'm Neena Mishra. I will share my stock pick first, and then I will hand it over to Dave Bartosiak, my colleague, who will share his very interesting stock pick. So let me start with mine. My stock pick today is Netflix, ticker symbol NFLX. Let me share my screen and talk a little bit more about Netflix. So Netflix is, as you can see here, it's currently a Zacks rank number 2 buy-rated stock. Now let me show my slide here. So the company reported their results recently, and it was a blockbuster fourth quarter for them. They added 18.9 million subscribers, and shares surged about 10% after results, because this number was almost double the street consensus and also up 44% from a year earlier. So the company also not only beat on the top and bottom lines, they also raised their revenue guidance and also announced that they are raising prices across their existing US Plus. Now remember, Netflix was originally a member of the FANG group, but it seems that they lost their momentum for some time. But now it appears that the company is taking the right steps to steer its growth back on track. So they have taken measures like password sharing crackdown. They have introduced ad tiers. So ad tiers, they had started in 2022, and there was a slow start, but that seems to be gaining traction now. They have also announced price hikes. And let me show the detailed estimates page here. And you will see that analysts have been raising estimates for the company after those blockbuster results. You will see that estimates for the current year and next year, they have gone up significantly after those results. Now, talking about what they have been doing, we have seen that fans flocked to watch shows like Squid Games, and that was the second season was one of the most watched season for any company's original series. And then some of the live streaming events, particularly the record-breaking Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson boxing match, they have been very popular. So expanding into these areas like live events, sports, games, that has benefited Netflix. And it seems they are winning the streaming war as of now. There are so many streaming services providers, but Netflix seems to be surging ahead. And the stock is not cheap. Let's go back to Zacks.com. So the stock, you will see that over the past year, it is up about 73%. And it is currently trading at forward P multiple of almost 40 times. That is not cheap, but it is still significantly there past 10 years average. And let's take a look at price consensus and earnings surprise chart. So you will see that earlier, this is the phase when Netflix seemed to have lost its track, and then they announced those measures. Since those measures were announced for the past 2.5 years, the company has been doing quite well. They have missed twice, but in general, the stock price has been on an upward trajectory because analysts as well as investors, they like the results and they like the measures taken by the company. And again, Netflix is a Zacks ranked number 2 by rated stock. So worth a look, and it is not impacted by the trade and tariff wars. So I'll now hand it over to Dave Bartosiak for his stock pick.
All right, Neena, thanks for that. I've got another top stock pick of the week. This one happens to be in blockchain innovators. It is Grid Dynamics. ticker GDYN. It is a Zacks rank #1 strong buy in the computers IT services industry, which ranks in the top 19% of our Zacks industry rank. Taking a look at the style scores and F for value, C for growth, C for momentum. And they're about to report earnings. It's coming up here on February 20th. But again, it's in Blockchain Innovators, not in Surprise Traders. So the earnings is just something to keep an eye on, but it's not why we added it. Take a look at these numbers here. This is why we added it. Take a look at current year growth, 10.69% on the revenue side. That's expected to accelerate to 17.85% next year. Looking at the EPS side of things, we've got 6.25% EPS growth for the current year. Again, accelerating to 27.94%. I don't get too excited when you're coming off of a low base in terms of percentage gains, right? Because, off of 34 cents, you're growing 27%, right? It's not as exciting as if it was making some real money. But the point is, this is moving in the right direction, and that's what I want to see. And if you take a look, the estimates have ticked up a little bit here. Current year has gone from 33 cents to 34 cents on our Zacks consensus estimate. Next year's gone from 42, ticked up to 44, but now we're at 43. So that's kind of where we're at. And if you look, it's kind of been a little shaky on the earnings front in terms of the reports. So you had a couple of misses, but they righted the ship 2 quarters ago, and they've since come in line. My favorite chart on Zacks.com, this price consensus and EPS surprise chart, you should always pull this up, in my opinion, when you're looking at a stock, because you learn so much from this. So the black line here is the price, and that corresponds to the right y-axis. The arrows are earnings beats. When you see a big green one, that's a big beat. See a red one, that's a miss. If you saw a big red one, that would be a big miss. And the multicolored lines represent the evolution of our consensus estimates over time. These correspond to that left y-axis. So oftentimes you'll see a stock, if it's doing this situation where earnings are, starting off high and then going lower, stock usually goes lower. And that's kind of what happened here. You had this huge run up, really high expectations, got up to 40, and then the bottom fell out. This thing collapsed all the way down to 10, but earnings collapsed also. But you see here, something kind of changed in the second half of 2024. These estimates rounded out. They've rounded out and now are starting to tick to the upside. And that's a big reason why the stock has gone from 10 all the way up to the mid 20s right now. Should this trend continue, that's what you really want to see as these estimates start to tick up, that growth coming year over year. And that's when a stock like this ends up going higher. So that's my top stock pick of the week here. It is Grid Dynamics, ticker GDYN. Okay, thank you so much for checking us out this week on our top stock pick of the week. Be sure to check out Zacks.com/promo for this week's awesome deal, because we've always got steals and deals there. So for Nina and I'm Dave Bartosiak here. I want to say thank you, and we'll see you next week.